So I could talk kind of all day about the myriad of issues with Bill C-51. There are so many. It's one of these omnibus bills that they've just crammed a whole bunch of things into. And I'm not going to go into all of the details. I'm going to skip over security certificates and the no-fly list and the vague language. I'm just going to focus on 7 key points that are kind of my biggest concerns. And the first one is the expanded surveillance. And so CSIS, which is our security intelligence agency, has these new powers to gather information on Canadians. Second is the information sharing between government agencies. And so what that means is the Canadian Revenue Agency can share your information with Border Security, can share your information with RCMP, can share your information with CSIS. And you can see why this would be concerning for Canadians. The next one is new powers to disrupt. So CSIS, our security agency, now, it used to be just an information gathering agency, and it now has these new powers of disruption. And disruption isn't actually outlined in the bill, but just to give you a sense of what it could be, other nations with security agencies that have used disruption techniques have done smear campaigns, they've drained bank accounts, they have cleared computers, or done breaking and entering. And so all of a sudden, CSIS is a completely new agency with completely new powers. Next, number 4 is that CSIS can now contravene our charter rights and freedoms. And there is a provision in there that they can't violate your sexual integrity, they can't cause bodily harm or death. But other than that, your charter rights and freedoms are up for grabs. Number 5 is really concerning to me. They've created a new speech crime. And the way in which this is phrased is that it's advocating or promoting terrorism in general. And they actually use in general in the law. And not only is it kind of this broad thing, but it's also, you can be reckless as to your speech. So it's not just if you intend to promote or advocate terrorism, but if you're reckless as to the outcome of your speech, you could fall under this new speech crime. And so you can imagine how this would chill free speech for people in advocacy groups. If you have a different opinion than the Canadian government about the Ukraine, about the Palestine-Israel conflict, about the Indigenous communities who are fighting to protect land against pipelines or fracking. And so I have a huge concern about the chilling of free speech. Number 6 is the lack of oversight, and this applies to all of them. CSIS already had a problem with oversight before we gave them these new expanded powers, and they now have these disruption powers, expanded surveillance, and without increased oversight. And if you've been following it at all, you'll know that there are 4 former prime ministers, 12 privacy commissioners, including the government's own privacy commissioner, have spoken out about this lack of oversight for CSIS. And then the last one, number 7, I've saved to the last because it's one that really concerns me, and it's the lumping together of a bunch of things along with terrorism under this new umbrella term, which is activity that undermines the security of Canada. And so lumped in there are interference with the economic or financial stability of Canada, and interference with critical infrastructure. And our government is assuring us that no, this won't actually affect protest, dissent, advocacy, artistic expression. But CSIS already oversteps its mandate continually. They already have a huge problem. Before this bill was even conceived, in New Brunswick, there are Indigenous communities protesting against LNG, against fracking, and CSIS was there gathering information, even though that isn't within their mandate. And so we are giving CSIS these powers. They already overstep, they already have a problem with oversight, and we're supposed to trust that they're not going to be carrying this out against our environmental activists or against our Indigenous activists. It's a huge concern. And yeah, for sure. So I just want to end kind of with expressing gratitude for Randall's hard work. If you've followed any of the committee meetings, you'll have seen that he was our most outspoken critic of this bill. Yeah, and I just want to say thank you so much. Our government wants to make this election about terrorism, about fear, and I want us as an electorate to make it about our civil liberties, about democracy, about change in Ottawa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laurel. That was a great, quick, fast summary of C-51 and some of the terrible aspects of it.